Hi guys, how are you? This one Titanium. Welcome back to Real Macroeconomics and Investing, Pure MMT. So let's do another video, and I'm going to kind of recap what we talked about in previous videos, and I'm going to start always reminding people that under capitalism and under the economic school of thought, whatever you want to call it, neoclassical, neo-Poots, neo whatever, have created the greatest economy in the history of mankind, $150 trillion worth of assets. That's a fact, okay? 5% of the global population is producing 25% of global GDP. Now remember that, always, okay? So when you sit here criticizing all the evil government and, the rich and pitchfork them and, keep these things in mind. Everybody's an alternative economist today on social media. Everybody knows everything about economics, and they know what they're talking about. They're all nuts, right? None of these people can go out, invest their money in the stupid shit they're saying, and actually make any money, right? That's why I run my Patreon service with a live portfolio. I actually put real money, okay, in the market and produce profits as a result of understanding real macroeconomics. There's a very big difference about saying stupid shit about hypotheticals and putting your hard earned money based on real macroeconomic understanding. If you don't know what you're talking about, you get wiped out and you get laughed at. Okay? So, again, if this is something that you're interested in, come down to patreon.com/mindthisone, $50 a month, and I can teach you how to become your own analyst. So anyway, so we talked about the United States under capitalism has created $150 trillion worth of assets. We've also talked about how MMT says higher interest rates are inflationary, therefore the dollar weakens and you should short the dollar, buy gold, buy silver. Okay? That has been flat out proven to be wrong. Mike Norman embarrassed himself publicly, worldwide, cost his subscribers a lot of money, believing in what Warren Mosler bullshit was saying, that higher interest rates are inflationary, central banks have it backwards, they're all idiots except for him, and then, that's the way it works. Okay, what happened? Where's the dollar index? 97. Right? So this is what I mean. If you quantify the words, the word fuckery that fake MMT uses, okay, you will come to find out that it's bullshit. It's a politically driven movement, whatever you want to call it. It has nothing to do with real macroeconomics. Okay, the MMT description part, okay, is incomplete, and we also talked about that. That if you don't include the two main sectoral balances between household income to savings equals, by accounting identity, okay, business profit savings. If you don't understand that, and that if the household is funded by deficits from the government, it's going to flow to the top 5%. Okay? Because you cannot have a profit, nor can you have a saving as a business unless the household saves. Accounting identity, right? They love to wave that little flag in your face all the time. So remember that. Now, if the private sector or the household is funded by savings via investment, then all you're going to get is a circular feedback loop. Okay, it's just going to go back and forth and back and forth. All right, that's the proper way that the economy should run, and that's very important for everybody to remember. So let's talk about how government spends. Okay, now you're going to hear from the fake MMTers so many different, pseudo-intellectual morons. Okay, give you all these kind of different definitions: reserves, treasuries, M1, M2, M3, Indo, Exo, narrow money, wide money, tax credits. You're going to hear all that bullshit. Okay? Take that, throw it right in the trash. Boom. Right down there. It's worthless, okay? The way the government spends is it issues bonds, okay? And the private sector, who already has the money, okay, the private sector, their savings, okay, they go out and they buy these bonds. That's the way it works. And once they buy the bonds, the private sector gets the bonds with a coupon, an interest coupon, and the government gets those dollars. And then those dollars are spent back into the productive economy where the 95% reside. And then the 95%, the household, okay, think of it as a household. The household takes those deficits, okay, after working for them, and does what? With their income, they go out and consume. And once they consume, then they dissave, right? So once they dissave, it becomes business profit. And what do they do with profits? They save them, okay? That's what businesses do. And then what do businesses do with those savings? They go out and they invest it. They can buy back bonds. They can, their own bonds, stock bonds. They can buy treasury bonds, okay? They can buy commodities, real estate, whatever. So, remember, when you see that the government is deficit spending, what they're doing is they are inflating bonds, okay? There's more and more and more bonds. The government just doesn't wake up one morning and says, print, $500 billion because I need it. No, it borrows it from the private sector. Now, again, I'm going to point out that the pseudo-intellectuals, they're going to start talking about primary dealers, how they bid on them, and then the secondary market, and then, and it's the act of the central bank buys those bonds and then distributes it. Don't get caught up into that bullshit. I want you to remember something. Any economic school of thought that is going to try to use all these fancy words they're trying to confuse you, okay? If you replace the word reserve with a dollar, it's the same thing, okay? Once a bond is issued and the private sector lends them the money and buys that bond, okay, what is the bond? If you replace the word bond with a dollar, what is it? It's a dollar. All money is money in the banking system, okay? So don't let them confuse you with these things, with pseudo-intellectual bullshit. That's cargo science. Nobody in the investment community or on the planet gives a shit how those dollars come to be. All right, it's not going to make you any money. It's not going to help you make any kind of rational decision required for who you should vote for president, or what policy is good for you, or it's junk is what it is. Remember the gold bugs, right? Oh, dollars are pieces of paper, they're IOUs, they're worthless, gold is real money, therefore you should go out and buy gold, buy silver, and crash JP Morgan. Like, you see what I'm saying? You can't go buy a fucking burger with gold, but it's real money. So be careful with these crazy people, all right? Pseudo-intellectuals. Stay away from their word fuckery, right? Just remember, the way the government spends is it issues bonds, and then those dollars make it into the private sector, and then within the private sector, household versus business, they funnel through the two sectoral balances that are omitted from fake MMT purposely, okay? Because if they were to include them, then you would see that all deficits equals savings for the top 5%, okay? Because all the money naturally flows to the top 5%, and they are always going to go and buy the bonds, okay, because they have all the savings, and they want to get safe assets, okay? And no matter how much your deficit spend via issuing bonds, you're going to get that bond inflation. It's always going to go to the top, not the 95%. He who holds the bonds is the beneficiary of all deficits. Remember that. You cannot print value and you cannot print production. Take care. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.